In the world, there are countries that, despite being familiar by name, we don't know much about. Undoubtedly, Mongolia is one of them. When you hear the name Mongolia, you might think of Genghis Khan. But when was the last time you heard news about Mongolia? Or how much do you really know about this country? Today, we will explore this well-known yet unknown country together. A historical nation with mesmerizing nature, a people deeply connected to their environment, and fascinating traditions. The contrast between traditional lifestyles and modern buildings in the capital city can be captivating for anyone. Mongolia is located in Central and East Asia. It is completely bordered by Russia to the north and China to the south, making it the second largest landlocked country in the world after Kazakhstan. With an area of 1,264,000 square kilometers, Mongolia ranks as the 19th largest country globally, approximately the same size as Iran. However, despite its vast area, only about 5 million people live in Mongolia, with nearly half of them residing in the capital city, Ulaanbaatar. In fact, Mongolia is considered the least densely populated independent country in the world. About 95% of its population is Mongolian, while around 4% belong to Turkic ethnic groups. Many people in Mongolia live in traditional felt tents called gurs and use horses and camels for transportation. Although Mongolia does not share a border with Kazakhstan, there are many cultural similarities between the Mongolian and Kazakh people. History enthusiasts know that the Mongols are a proud people who played a significant role throughout history. They once dominated vast regions and established great empires. Initially, they lived in the Gobi Desert and occasionally invaded China, prompting Chinese emperors to construct the Great Wall for protection. Under the leadership of Genghis Khan, one of the most important figures in Mongolian history, various tribes united and waged wars across the world. Genghis Khan founded the Mongol Empire in 1206 and led numerous successful campaigns throughout history. In the 17th century, Tsarist Russia engaged in many wars with China to gain control over this region. Although Mongolia declared its independence in 1912, Chinese forces continued to occupy various parts of Mongolia. Today, there is even an autonomous region named Inner Mongolia within China. Over time, Mongolia increasingly fell under Soviet influence, leading to the establishment of the Mongolian People's Republic in 1924. However, it wasn't until the early 1990s, following the collapse of the Soviet Union and a democratic revolution, that Mongolia transitioned to a multi-party system and a market economy. Overall, after a glorious period in its history, Mongolia has weakened and is now relatively overlooked on the global stage. It can be said that it has retreated into a corner of obscurity, living with memories of its magnificent past. As a result, no figure commands as much respect in Mongolia as Genghis Khan. You can see a massive statue of him standing 40 meters tall near the capital. The country experiences short, warm summers and very cold, snowy winters. Ulaanbaatar is considered the coldest capital city in the world, based on average annual temperatures. Since spring and autumn can still be chilly, summer may be the best time to visit Ulaanbaatar. However, even during this season, it's advisable to bring warm clothing. Mongolia is often referred to in legends as the land of blue sky because its sky is clear for more than 2/3 of the year. Mongolia, a country stretched between two giants, Russia and China, where endless steppes meet the horizon and the echoes of ancient warriors still linger in the wind. To many, it is the land of Genghis Khan, the heart of a proud empire that once ruled much of the world. But beneath the surface of this vast and seemingly untouched land lies a reality that very few outsiders ever see. They call it the most sinful country, but not because of malice or evil. It's because of the silent struggles that happen every single day, hidden behind the beauty of its landscapes and the smiles of its people. In Ulaanbaatar, the capital city, neon lights flicker against a backdrop of gray Soviet-era buildings. As the temperature drops to -40 in winter, life becomes a battle between survival and temptation. The city is growing fast, swallowing traditions in exchange for modern pleasures. Clubs stay open all night and gambling dens hide behind karaoke bars. Alcohol flows like water, and broken dreams mixed with the smoke of cheap cigarettes. It's not sin in a biblical sense. It's a kind of spiritual exhaustion, a quiet rebellion against poverty, isolation, and the harshness of life on the steppe. Every day, thousands migrate from the countryside to the city in search of a better life. But when they arrive, they find a different kind of wilderness, one made of concrete, money, and desire. They leave behind their herds, their open skies, their way of life passed down for centuries, only to end up in crowded districts built from old shipping containers. These Jir districts, named after Mongolia's traditional felt tents, are home to more than half the city's population. There's no plumbing, no central heating, and in winter, the air fills with the smoke of coal fires that choke the city. People drink to stay warm, to forget, to dream for a moment that they are somewhere else. Yet amidst this chaos, something profoundly human is unfolding. Mongolia is a country caught between ancient tradition and a rapidly modernizing world. The old and the new coexist uneasily. Shamanism, Buddhism, and capitalism intertwine in strange, beautiful, and sometimes destructive ways. A young woman may spend her morning offering prayers at a monastery, her afternoon trading cryptocurrency, and her night lost in a haze of vodka and music. A herder's son might dream of becoming an influencer, while his father prays for rain to feed the animals. This contradiction, this tension between spirit and flesh, past and future, is what defines the so-called sin of Mongolia. For outsiders, it's easy to judge. They see the rising rates of alcoholism, the nightlife that never sleeps, the growing sex trade, and call it corruption or moral decay. But look closer, and you'll see something else. A people trying to cope with change that came too fast, too suddenly. After the fall of communism, Mongolia opened its doors to the world, and the world flooded in with all its promises and poisons. Capitalism offered freedom, but also greed. Religion promised peace, but also confusion. Technology brought connection, but also loneliness. In the middle of all that, the Mongolian soul is trying to survive. In the dark alleys of Ulaanbaatar, there are stories no one tells. A former school teacher sells vodka on the street to feed her children. A teenage boy spends his nights racing stolen cars through the frozen suburbs. A miner in the Gobi Desert risks his life every day for a few grams of gold that might never change his fate. Sin here is not about morality, it's about survival. Every person fights a private battle between hope and despair, faith and hunger, light and shadow. And yet there's an undeniable beauty in all of it. On the steppe, under a sky so wide it feels like forever, nomads still ride their horses across the land as their ancestors did. They carry smartphones in their pockets and ancient songs in their hearts. They live between two worlds, and that's what makes Mongolia so haunting, so alive. In a way, this is what the documentary reveals. Not a country of sinners, but a country of survivors. When you watch the sunrise over the Gobi, or see the lights of Ulaanbaatar shimmering through the smog, you begin to understand. The sins of Mongolia are not crimes. They're the expressions of a nation struggling to find its balance in a world that won't stop changing. Every drink poured, every deal made, every whispered prayer is part of the same story. It's about endurance, about trying to stay human when the old certainties have vanished. So when they say the most sinful country, perhaps they mean the most human one. A place where contradictions are raw and visible, where the sacred and the profane live side by side. Mongolia is not lost. It's searching. And in that search lies a kind of truth that few are brave enough to face. Because sin, after all, is just another word for the parts of ourselves we don't understand yet. Mongolia, often known as the land of the eternal blue sky, is characterized by its vast steppes, rugged mountains, and sprawling deserts. The weather in Mongolia is marked by extremes and can be quite variable, influenced significantly by its geographic location deep within the Asian continent. The climate is defined as continental, resulting in harsh winters and hot summers, creating a beautiful yet challenging environment for its inhabitants and wildlife. During the winter months, temperatures can plunge dramatically, especially in northern regions, where they often dip below 30 degrees Celsius, 22 degrees Celsius. The air is crisp and the landscape is blanketed in a thick layer of snow, painting a serene and untouched picture. The cold, dry air contributes to a sense of stillness, interrupted only by the occasional howling of the wind against the vast, empty plains. The stark beauty of winter in Mongolia captivates those who venture into its chilly embrace, showcasing a spectacular yet formidable display of nature's power. In stark contrast, summers in Mongolia bring the warmth, with temperatures soaring between 25 degrees, 77 and 40 degrees, 104 degrees in some areas. The steppes come alive during this season, leaving behind the barren cold to reveal vibrant carpets of wildflowers. The long, sunlit days create a dramatic backdrop against the distant mountains, inviting locals and visitors alike to explore the rich landscapes and embrace outdoor activities such as horseback riding and hiking. While the days are hot, the nights bring a refreshing coolness, making it an ideal time for stargazing under the clear, expansive skies that adorn the Mongolian summer. The transitional seasons of spring and autumn are brief, yet striking. Spring casts off the winter chill, showcasing budding flora and fauna eager to greet the warmth, while autumn adorns the landscape with hues of gold and bronze as the leaves change color. These periods offer a unique charm, as the climate can shift unexpectedly. Sudden weather changes are common, with occasional dust storms in spring and the first frosts appearing swiftly in autumn. Thus, anyone traveling across Mongolia should be prepared for a range of weather conditions, embracing the unpredictable nature of its climate. In understanding Mongolia's weather patterns, we appreciate not only the stark contrasts, but also the resilience of its people and landscapes. The elements define the rhythm of life, influencing everything from traditional nomadic lifestyles to contemporary city living. The interplay of seasons underscores Mongolia's beauty, inviting exploration and discovery in a land of extremes.